Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming to Manifesting Miracles and Money Masterclass. This is definitely one of my favorite topics to share with people because I just feel like we are all powerful creators of our life experience. And I know that this was not something that I always realized. And so when I found out like, oh my gosh, we're powerful creators, it just became probably one of my favorite things to share with others, because I just think it's so empowering to know that really you can have it all. You can have whatever you want and you're worthy of receiving everything. So thank you so much for coming. I'd love to hear in the chat box. Again, you can open up the chat if you're jumping on later and just answer any questions you might have in there along the way. I'll come back to them if I miss them, but also just knowing, responses to where you're at. So how many of you have experienced creating miracles? You can raise your hand or you can type in the chat yes, because I know that's fun when you're in that synchronistic flow and you can validate, hey, I created this. Yes, Jen says yes. Janelle says yes. And how many of you would like to know how to boost your manifesting mojo so you can skyrocket that ability and manifest with even more ease? Whoop, whoop. I know I do. Yes, because it's so much fun. And it's truly, on an energy level, it's not harder to create something really something big than it is something small at its core concept. Now, sometimes, our mindset and stuff could get in the way, and that's a lot about what we're going to talk about today. So over the course of the next hour, I'm going to give you as much information as I can. I'm going to give you 3 secrets to really supercharge your manifesting abilities, okay, and really create powerful intentions. We're going to talk about how spiritual alignment is really an important role in your manifesting process. And we're also going to take a look at I threw money in here as well, but really it's all leads to the same thing about sometimes the places where we're saying no to ourselves in general. And I think one of the biggest areas people have as a quote unquote excuse, but that seemingly valid one, right? Sometimes when your bank account's staring at you and saying, I can't quite afford this, but I want it. And so I thought it would be fun to specifically dive into some of the money mindset pieces in the call today as well. So you can see, where are these limiting beliefs coming from? And hopefully we can shift some of that for you today so that you can say yes to yourself even more. How does that sound? Hope it sounds good. All right, so I just want to acknowledge all of you guys for coming here today also, because I know, life's busy and we could be anywhere doing a lot of things. So right there, you said yes to yourself, which is something that a lot of people don't do, especially as moms. I think, typically we're so used to giving to everybody else. We're fabulous givers. And oftentimes we get left on the back burner. So yay for you for showing up and for committing to yourself and saying yes. So just to very short blip it of my story, some of you may and may not have heard it yet. So I just want to let you know a little bit about who I am, if that's okay, and why I'm so passionate about supporting people in really owning their power, really knowing that they are powerful creators, knowing that they're amazing and worthy and loved. I know for myself, right now, life is pretty amazing. It's not perfect, right? It's not like rainbows and unicorns always. I think I hoped that when I first started my path that I'd get to this nirvana and it would just stay there. But I quickly realized, it's not necessarily that way, right? But I have a great life. I'm able to set my own schedule. I'm able to incorporate Zumba, meditation, creativity, fun things, and really set up and structure my life in a way that works for me, right? Because we're all different. The 8 to 5 thing absolutely would not have worked for me at all. I'm not a morning person. So just the little things. And really, I've been able to take vacations, I think, well, not vacations, spiritual retreats just for me to Hawaii for at least 6 years in a row, maybe 7 now, actually, where I get to go swim with the wild dolphins and get pampered and have people cook for me and, do these, energy work and really focusing on clarity of my goals, which has been something that, I would have never dreamed of doing. And I really do believe that it's this balance of divinity and action that sustains my life and builds my success, right? And it definitely has its moments, but it's nothing that I have learned enough tools and awareness and understanding that I can have bigger bouts of peace, right? And where things I'm feeling empowered and less of those low dips, and I'm not feeling as derailed for as long, right? So I've learned to really navigate the course so much more quickly. When in the past, I could have stayed derailed for probably actually the first 30 years of my life in some ways, right? So, but it definitely wasn't always that way, right? Just having that alignment or even that awareness didn't exist for me always. I was 20 years old when I had my daughter, single, self-employed mom. I was doing hair. And though I was able to create a six-figure business through hair and makeup and specializing in weddings, I was like on hamster wheel of to-do list all the time, just totally stressed out, overwhelmed, feeling like, okay, soccer, I've got to wear the mom hat, I've got to wear the client hat, or the, hairdresser hat, I've got to do the networking at wedding shows, I've got to do all these different things. And I was feeling like so stressed out that my only form of stress relief was really food and alcohol, right? Chocolate and wine was probably my preference, or maybe some French fries. Sometimes, I get off of work and I'm like, okay, now I can make it through the next thing. And then that just really only worked for a period of time, right? I don't know if any of you guys can relate. You can type in the chat if you can relate to just feeling like on this zone of extending so much energy, but feeling like you just have to keep pushing through the day. And it got to the point where I had celebrating a birthday party at my friend's and had a couple glasses of wine, and the next thing I knew, I was on my way home and I ended up flipping my car twice, getting in a car accident, hitting a pole, flipping it twice, and landing in a ditch. And fortunately, nobody else was involved in that. I wasn't physically injured by a miracle, honestly, right? Every single window of my SUV was crashed out. I literally had to crawl out the window. And I really, it was a big wake-up call for me that day. I really knew that something in my life had to change. I could not run on frazzle mode. I could not rely on alcohol as my way to be the only way to manage my stress, right? I was feeling very alone, very afraid, and I had no freaking clue what to do. I had no clue what to do. So I prayed, right? I didn't know what else to do. So I'm like, and I prayed. I'm like, I just want to be happy and at peace, right? At the core, that's really what I wanted to have. Yeah, Jennifer, I can totally relate. She says she's living that now. And so it's like, I prayed and my grandfather came to me in a dream. And this was really profound because I wanted to dream of him. He died when I was 10 years old and he was my safe spot, my rock for the whole family, really. And when he came, he woke something up within me. He reminded me that I wasn't alone. He reminded me that there was God and angels and all of these spiritual support around me to really support and guide me. And he showed me that I had to come back and face the turmoil, but that I wasn't alone. And when I woke up, I had a sense of peace that I washed over me that I never felt before. Like I really never felt, for the first time, I guess I didn't even realize how alone I actually felt in the world, right? And so, and it gets me emotional every time, sorry guys, but it does, it just touches my heart because I know how that feels. And so this is really a lot of what drives me. This is really the beginning of my spiritual path. And for that next year, I just ate up every single book that I could on self-help, on awareness and consciousness and the power of your mind and power of now, Eckhart Tolle and The Secret. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And it just started clicking very quickly. And I ended up getting my first psychic reading. And I wasn't even sure if I believed in psychics at the time. I was raised in a very conservative Christian family. And I wasn't sure, well, I guess I'd never considered it. And she said, I'm going to be doing what she was doing within 5 years. And I'm like, what? Now at this point, I will say, oh, thank you for sharing that. Janelle says, it's beautiful. I'm still so moved by your story authentically. Yes, because it's part of what I've lived, right? And it's part of my heart for helping others. I know there's so many other women feeling their own version of this in some way. And I know it doesn't have to be that way. So that's what's exciting. So, and thank you for letting me share with you. So for me, and she told me I was going to be doing that. At this point, I started hearing some things, like my intuition really blasted open quickly. And I think we all have our different ways of how this comes around. My grandparents started talking to me in my car on the way to work. All of a sudden I was recognizing that they were talking to me. I'd put my Celtic music on and here they are. And it's like so exciting. And so really from there, I just started learning about angels and intuition. And I really became clear that, and I went on to create many other things from that space to the point of really being able to invest even $22,000 leaps based on knowing that I'm not alone and I don't have to create alone and I'm a powerful creator and the angels and God and everyone's there to support me at all times, right? So it's like, just to bring it around so you understand, I know what it's like to feel disempowered, right? And I also have an extreme passion to help others wake up to the truth of who they are, to their passion and to their calling, because your soul is speaking to you all the time. Right. And when we start to harness in on this, really life-changing miracles can start to happen, and you will have a life and be living something that you can look back 6 months or a year before and be so surprised at how far things have come. Right. It's so amazing. And so these tools that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is really what I still come back to, right? It's the core of what I do. And of course, you got to take things a little deeper. So for those of you who want to have, more information, for the most part, I'm going to give you lots of basic detail today that I hope you can put into action. But for those of you that know that, what, I'm ready to have it all. I'm ready to live more fully into my dreams and into my life. I'm going to share some really exciting special ways that you can dive deeper with that topic with me if you'd like. Sound good? All right. So I would like to start out with just one of these. I love having different affirmations sometimes, or different things, mantras to sort of say. And one that I like to say when I'm thinking about manifesting money and miracles is, or just manifesting in general, is when my actions and soul gifts are aligned, manifestation happens. Now you can put your hand on your heart and say that with me. When my actions and soul gifts are aligned, manifestation happens. And it's really true, right? We're designed as creative beings. We are designed of the energy that creates worlds, right? We are miracle creators. Miracles are happening all around us all the time. And we just don't always see it. Or maybe we're creating things on unconscious level that we don't realize that we're creating, right? So one of the first things I want to talk about is just, knowing, have any of you ever felt like there's something you wanted to create? Like sometimes the things, like how I would explain it is I have top 10 things I want to create, and things 3 through 10 on the list that I want, but not to holding on to, can come in really easy. But my top 3 things that I really want maybe don't come in. Have you ever experienced that, where you put something on your vision board year after year and it's yet to come in, right? I know that I've had that. And then there's times where you can be in this synchronistic flow where you just feel like you're tripping over yourself and miracles are just coming in and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Like you're on a magic carpet ride, right? Have you had that experience? And both of them, are really expressions of our manifestation process, right? That it's really not flukes. It's not happenstance. And I want to start out with just talking about that, because this is an important concept to realize that alignment is really key for a couple of reasons. Being in alignment with who you are, having clear communication between your spirit and your body, having clarity of your desires, really creating what you want, and allowing yourself to feel worthy and deserving of having it, is really the core key. And being in resistance to not having it is what keeps us separate from it, or having a fear of some sort of, what would it mean if I actually get this? Let me give you an example. I know there's, for me, when I wanted to create, when I look at some of the things I want to do, such as traveling and leading retreats around the world and doing more of the bigger version of my calling of sharing and spreading awareness and inspiration and consciousness. I was wondering why it was taking me a while to really grow and step into that. And the reason is because what I would have to let go of, it felt to me like, oh my gosh, I would have to probably be living at the ocean somewhere, not here. And I'd have to be away from my daughter, right? That was the concept in my mind, like the fear that I had. I want this. Why is this being hard to create? These retreats that I want to do and traveling that I want to do to that degree. And part of it was because there was this feeling that I would have to leave my daughter. Now, that's not necessarily really true, but because I wasn't addressing that, it was keeping things a little sticky, right? And so what is it? So just knowing that it's not happenstance or fluke. We are always in control of our creative process. We're creating all the time, right? And it's even harder to swallow that pill if it's first time hearing it, probably, or if you're in a situation that you really don't like, that doesn't feel good, right? It's kind of like, oh, I don't want to own that, right? Natasha says, love that mantra. Yeah, me too, right? It feels good. It's a good thing to wake up to. And so really just realizing it's not happenstance, right? And there's so much power in accepting that responsibility, because as soon as we accept the responsibility of, wow, I created this situation, you know what? You've got the power now to assess why or what's going on for you so that you can pivot it and immediately start creating something new. But if we try to gloss over that space with a bunch of affirmations and just visioning on this future, but we have these underlying things that are stopping us, it's just never going to manifest, right? Or if we play victim and we feel like, it's somebody else's fault, right? Including money, including time, including, other people in our life, right? Because it's just really not true. And so really, I just I wanted to bring that up, even though it's kind of like it's a heaviness sometimes because we don't want to acknowledge that. It's so powerful when we do, because in that moment you suddenly get to pick up the reins of your life and be the one in control of your process again. And it reminded me I don't know, this story came to mind. I was in retreats, I told you I was going to Hawaii to swim with the wild dolphins, or maybe I didn't mention that part, but when I go to my spiritual retreats, we swim with like hundreds of wild dolphins. Amazing. Highly recommend if you haven't done it. It's super healing and spiritual and fun, right? But when I was on these retreats, I would do healing work for some of the people that were there, and Pele, the volcano goddess, came in and very clearly showed me this understanding. She's the volcano goddess of Hawaii. And so it's kind of in dramatic metaphors, but it was like she showed me that the destruction, like the lava flow, the destruction that was happening, right? And that could look like in our life, a letting go of a moving, a home, being fired from your job, how these different ways where we can sometimes feel like life happened to us and now we're in this catastrophe that we don't understand or like. But how she put it was that destruction is the first step in the creation process. It's making way, it's making room. When we're misaligned, that's when we start creating things through resistance and fear that really reflect that misalignment, that sort of force us along the way when we're not whispering to that silent, softer whispers of our soul. It just comes in with a bang eventually, right? We create something more dramatic, whether a health crisis, or it could be a lot of things, right? Have any of you ever experienced something like that? Mine tends to come through car accidents. I've had 2. So, hopefully I've shifted that now, right? I try to listen a lot sooner, but I wasn't aware the first time, and the second time I had fear and resistances that I didn't realize were driving the show, which happens sometimes, right? But the sooner we can have that awareness, we can shift, pivot, and change. And so realizing that, making room, those destructions, that acknowledging that resistance, acknowledging that we're at where we're at and we don't have everything we want, that vision of what we want right now, just right there is a point of power and a shift to be like, okay, so now what do I want to create instead? It gives you a clear canvas. Does that, can you guys understand that? Does that resonate for you or bring up anything? So that's just really a powerful point to recognize, right? So I would do some journaling work around that. If you're experiencing that, what would it mean? Like, what am I holding on to such and such for if it's not? And we're going to do a quick, let's do a quick meditation actually. Go ahead and close your eyes for just like a 1 minute, close your eyes for a second. You can put your hands on your heart or your body just to recognize and go within. And go ahead and take a couple nice deep breaths in. And exhale. And go ahead and breathe in. And exhale. And I want you to look out, just create an intention of visioning. Let's just say something 3 months out. So let's picture summertime, a goal or something you want to create, or how you'd like to see your life or your business be moving towards something that you don't have in the moment. Could be a trip you're even wanting to plan that you haven't got, a family vacation going, or whatever you want. But imagine that, happening. Just start to acknowledge what that is, how you're feeling, what that's giving you. Just really what you want to experience and why. Start to notice how it feels when you can kind of be in that space of really aligning with your desires. Take a deep breath in, and then just kind of take a look at, just notice where you are now. Notice where you are now in relation to that vision, right? And this is powerful, and a step that we sometimes don't do, and think about what is the one thing that you need to do, that you could do, like what's a step or an action that you can notice that's different from who you're being now or what's going on for you now and that desire. And just one step, just one thing, right? Maybe it's really obvious to you and maybe it's not. You can just go ahead and open your eyes and just allow that awareness, to come in when it's ready if it didn't. But I feel like sometimes we don't want to do that, but seeing, where we are and what we want and noticing that gap is really, really powerful, because that's when you can start to get honest with yourself and take a step or an action that's going to actually create it. We can't just completely meditate ourselves and mantra ourselves, into a manifestation. Sometimes it feels like that's what happens, right? And I'm sure that is a powerful aspect. But we have to, at some point, take the inspired action. And some of that is just being open to receiving, right? Allowing ourselves to receive, I think, as women is a big thing. So how did any of you guys come up with anything exciting? You can share that in the comments. Whether it's, how did that feel? Did you notice any awareness is around that, where you're at now and where you want to be? You feel free to share if you like. So the next step we're going to talk about is my 3 ways to create powerful intentions. So this is where that was kind of the heavy stuff, right? Now we're going to get into let's look at how can we supercharge and fuel our intentions. Okay. So the first step is getting clarity of your desires. And it does require, from my experience, I think, going within. So creating some sort of a regular quiet space where you get time to go inside and really allow yourself to check in with that. Like, something I recommend is journaling this question. You can write this down, maybe 5 minutes a day. Sometimes, especially when I'm going through a transition or looking for clarity in my work or in something specific, I'll ask, what is my soul's desires? What is my big vision? Kind of allowing yourself to just play and think about that bigger end result that you're desiring, and just sinking in and just noticing if that's in alignment. Another thing I would say is that, especially when you're in a spiritual path and as a transformational person, like which all of you are doing the work, our goals and things shift and grow as we do. So our businesses, we need to allow ourselves to almost have permission sometimes to let certain things go, right? There's a fine line with like hitting resistance and not taking an action out of fear because there's resistance, and we want to say, oh, well, that doesn't feel good, it must be out of alignment. Well, that's not always true. I hate to say it, hate to blow the whistle on that, because stretching your comfort zone is a big part of stepping into your dreams, because your dreams are always on the other side of some fear or something new or some place we haven't been, and that sometimes doesn't feel comfortable in the process. But it's really our resistance to that keeps it a longer process than it needs to be. But then there's also sometimes where you'll realize that maybe a goal is not coming in, and it's because it's not actually aligned with your desires. It might be what you think you want, or it might be what you've compromised to, for family or for somebody else or society's beliefs of what they think or their expectation or demand is that would be good for you. Right? An example would be, I was working with a client, a one-on-one client. We did some work around this, and she was in the middle. She had just had a divorce and in a relationship, and she was starting to see patterns. And she's like, I don't want to repeat these patterns. We did some work about this, and she realized, oh my gosh, I'm in a job that, quote unquote, I went to the 4-year and got my degree, and it's a good job, a good paying job, and the people are nice or whatever, but she wasn't feeling fulfilled anymore. And she realized that it was because it was her father's dream for her, right? At some level, she was unconsciously seeking the approval of her father, and how this was also now seeping into her relationships and seeking approval that way. So it's very interesting how all these things can really spider out and affect all areas of our life. So it almost doesn't even matter, what you focus on manifesting. Like in the program that we're going to be doing, the 3-month program I'm creating, it's like I'm going to have people teach them the process, but then they're going to pick, my suggestion would be to pick something specific. But whether you pick love or money or business, and you work deep on that one particular goal and what limiting beliefs are there, it's going to open up all these other areas because they're intrinsically combined. Right. And so it's really powerful to kind of go deep into one. And I think that's another thing with creatives is we have so many things going. We don't focus and channel our intention. So we don't get to go real deep because we get busy. And that's another form of how fear manifests, right, into distraction or procrastination or things like that. Jennifer says, that's me. Do you prefer Jen or Jennifer? There's a lot of Jennifers on the call. So anyways, that's one thing. So getting clear of your desires, and that requires really going within, really getting honest with yourself, getting honest with your visions, and allowing your business and your goals to grow and shift with you, because sometimes they do. And if we don't allow that shift to happen, when we get the goal, we won't be fulfilled, or it'll be harder to get it to come in. And it's because something's a misalignment. Okay, so the next step is take that clarity. So if you have the clarity of a desire, and then you want to take it a step further. So I usually suggest making a list of, your desires, and then next to it, putting your why, why you want to feel that. So I'll give an example with my daughter, or your business, however you want. I do one with my daughter. So I want to go travel with her. Like, it'd be fun to go to Europe and to Italy and to France and, experience traveling with my daughter. She's now 23. It's a different space in our relationship. And so that's a clarity, and I can have it up there, and that's exciting to see and think about. But when I connect it to my why is because I want to create bonding moments and memories, and, I want to deepen our relationship. I want to have a positive impact in her life and her heart and her and mine, and have fun, right? And so when I really get clear on that why, when I now kind of visualize and see that picture of going on traveling, it's no longer just fun. It gets into my heart, right? It activates my heart, which is powerful, right? And so then you want to take that why and attach it to the feeling. So this is where you get to spend some time with your visualization process, right? You start to allow yourself to dream into that vision of, what would it be like if I'm on the beach and we're traveling and I can just see us laughing, I can feel the laughter, and just allow that expressing that vision and that why and that feeling to expand in your body and in your heart as well. Okay. That's really powerful. It's that feeling that really magnetizes what we want to have in our life. And that's why we can do all the affirmations, and visualization, vision boards and stuff like that. And they can be powerful, and sometimes that's enough. But if we have a deeper attachment to it, or a bigger fear around it, or, bigger blocks around being alignment to it or to receiving it, then, sometimes it won't come in, right? Or if we're feeling more sad that it's not here, like, this is where money gets triggered a lot, right? If we're feeling more, in disempowerment than we are excited, then it's going to have a pretty hard time, probably impossible time, really manifesting, or it'll just be little blurps, right? Does that make sense? So you want to get really clear on, your clarity of your desire, why, and your feelings. And, you can even just spend 5 minutes on a particular goal. And when you do this visualization process, then I suggest kind of visiting that often. I mean, sometimes you just may have to get clear on that once, and then anytime you think about it, you recognize, and you immediately can drop into that feeling. But if it's something that's a little bit bigger, or a little bit that you really, really, have a lot of focus or attention on, then I suggest visualizing and feeling into that, more regularly is always a good thing, because it will surface the things and the mindset stuff that wants to come up. I call them little gremlin voices, right? That part of you that wants to come in and be like, yeah, but that's either greedy, or that's ridiculous. How are you going to do that? That's too hard. She's got a boyfriend. How's the timing going to work? Like, all of a sudden we have all these little voices that come up of the excuses that we think is why it can't happen, or why it will be hard to create. So that's golden also, because, we don't want to just ignore them. We want just acknowledging that part of ourselves and doing some healing work around that is super powerful as well. Okay, so the next step, so that was secret 1, is just steps to create a more powerful intention for yourself. And there's just 3 parts to that. So the second secret is you really got to raise your vibration to receive your miracles. Okay, you've got to raise your vibration and really become the person that can have it. You got to become open and willing to have it. And there's some ways that you can do that. Again, meditation is always a good way. I think it just gets you connected and aligned to yourself. The style of meditation I teach and I practice is about really utilizing and connecting with the earth, there's energy, the life force, the universal God directly, that divinity of you, in you, and pulling it in, and just really recognizing that, and kind of creating, it's kind of like plugging in the power source and turning up the volume a little bit. It's very magnetic. And so for me, it's about creating clear communication between your spirit and your body. It gives you the clarity, it gives you knowingness of your alignment, and it also raises your vibration. Being in nature, right? Nature's always very present and healing. So just tuning into taking walks, eating healthy exercise. So this is where the balance piece comes in. This is where I think that, you see a lot of talk about working from the feminine, which I think is huge. I mean, we definitely have to take the action, which is the more masculine, but when it's balanced masculine, it's inspired action. And so this is just the feminine aspect of really allowing yourself to connect with yourself, open up, and kind of be the magnet, start to draw and magnetize things to you. I know sometimes it's taking a negativity fast, right? From the news, like if you're feeling like that fear of the world is starting to bog you down. I know that was intense in the beginning of the year, especially for empaths and highly sensitive people. So just recognizing what do you need to do to raise your vibration. And that's where I tune into my body. I teach TLC. It's called TLC. It's a really quick meditation. Talk, listen, commit to your body's needs, and really asking on that level, whether it's a massage, what do you need today to be up and to raise the vibration, to be open to receiving that what you're asking for. And self-care is really a huge piece of it, like the balance piece, right? For me, I was getting the guidance to back off the caffeine, drink more water, and drink more green juice. And as soon as I did that, man, all of a sudden so much started coming in. And then the funny thing is, sometimes we put the halt on too. Like we'll start to get things and then we put our halt on. Have you ever done that? Where you started to like manifest so quickly and you're like, oh wait, I don't know if I can handle it. So it's kind of funny to just watch yourself, but noticing that, is also great. So just noticing, what is your body asking of you to raise the vibration of your frequency, to be open to that come in. And for me, it was really about what I was putting in my body to really raise my vibration, to receive and channel the information, and to have that next level of body of work come through. Because that stuff mucks it up for you. I think everyone's individual, so I'm not saying everybody has to drink green drinks and cut out caffeine, but just notice what it is for you. I think we all have different information coming in. Okay. The third secret is take soul-inspired action. So this is really, again, it can't just be all feminine. We all have feminine and masculine energy together, and when we marry them together, by constantly checking in with I like to do it in the morning ritual, do my meditation, my journaling, exercise, or whatever that morning ritual is for myself. And then you and I'll ask myself, I'll be literally pretty much start most days with, what is in alignment for me? What is the next step that I can take to be in alignment with my highest path, or with whatever goal or desire I'm trying to create in my business or whatever? And, maybe 1 or 2 steps, because that's how divine guidance works. It comes in 1 or 2 steps at a time. And if we don't take those 1 or 2 steps, or we try to skip steps, then it mucks up again, the manifesting. It mucks it up. It doesn't come in. And it will feel like you're sitting there, not getting anything. Like for instance, I remember when I first started, I was aware of the angels at this point. I love working with the angels. And so that'll be part of this. I'll share a little bit more about how you can work with your divine guidance, because that's huge for me. But I remember I was like I'm like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And like, I want my clairvoyant space, my intuition to open up. I had taken a year-long clairvoyant training program, and everybody was seeing all kinds of stuff. And I was looking at a black screen. It felt like forever. And I'm like, why can't this open up? And I kept feeling that the guidance, and I thought it was more of a thought at first, eat more organic. This was quite a while ago. And I was like, yeah, I should probably eat more organic, but, wasn't totally heeding the call. And I would do it as I could, or then I wouldn't have always money for it, or whatever the excuse was, right? And so I wasn't committed to that. And nothing was coming. I'm like, yeah, but what's my purpose? Well, then I was very clear of Archangel Raphael, who's got this green energy. If you work with the angels, you'd recognize this green energy. And he caught my attention, and he's just basic, like a tell, was like, go into Barnes & Noble, got a message for you. I'm like, okay, make it fast, because I've only got 5 minutes. Sometimes you can be like, okay, show me. We're joking. Recreating the communication with your angels is fun. It's like they're friends, they're buddies, they're humorous as well. So it's kind of like, okay, I see you there. You want to show me something, but make it fast. I've got 5 minutes. So I went in and I found a book, and I just kind of opened it like an oracle. And I just kind of knew to check page 55 for it. I was just paying attention to what was coming through. And boom, it was right there on the pages. Highly sensitive people, which I am, need to cut out pesticides and eat organic food to open their intuition, because it blocks, your visions. If eat pineapple, like it was like talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, so that was guidance this whole time, right? So sometimes we get it and we don't take action. And if we don't take the action, nothing's going to change. As soon as I started changing that, things shifted dramatically in terms of having my vision open even more. And that's really a key for me, harnessing your intuition. And as highly sensitive people and empathic people, and I know that people that are drawn to me, are as well, sometimes whether they realize it or not. our intuition is our gift. Like our sensitivities are our gift. And if we can just do the things and create the practices to support us in opening them up and having them be a gift and not a burden, they will, that's the secret sauce, right? We're already a loud receptor and receiver and giver of our intentions. You know, it's like our volume is up 25%. And so the angels are, you know, things like that are readily available to us. They are readily available for everybody, but as highly sensitive it's like your receptors are just up. And if you could just clear out and quiet and recognize the difference between your thoughts, your ego, other people's emotions and feelings that you live with and that are around you, you'll know exactly what to do, right? We actually always know when we're in lack of clarity. Our soul already knows. Our soul always knows. Our soul doesn't not know, right? We're connected to the infinite wisdom. And so because we are it, right? We're all part of it, and we're all our own unique individual aspect of that, right? And so when we can clear out that and understand the difference between what's my desire for myself and like how I would explain it is like, here's your crown chakra, just connecting to your higher information. And then we have all this energy of everybody else's thoughts, demands, judgment, but what about me? And if you do that, what is, you know, the stuff comes in and then we get confused. Like, well, how can I change my desire to please everybody? It ain't going to happen. Right. So what we do is we start unconsciously, we either play like we allow ourselves to, you know, put our blinders on and say, well, I'm confused. I don't know, you know, because we don't want to take control of the situation on some level. Like there's fear going on, but really that confusion is everybody else's energy kind of confusing you. So it's the clear communication between your spirit and your body, which is huge. And yeah, so it's so interesting today. I've given this talk like 3 or 4 times in the last month, and every time it's so different because it's the energy that's coming up of the group. So thank you guys for being here, because it's always fun to see what needs to be said. But I think that have any of you experienced that confusion, or just noticing, you know, where you water down or compromise your goals, especially your business or your bigger goals for what you want, to try to please everybody around you? That's a big one. And the bottom line is when we do that, then we don't feel happy, right? And passive aggressive, like resentment starts building and things like that with people as well. So it's actually not the kinder thing to do, you know, and there's ways to actually have room for everyone. If we can just stay in that space of like, how could this work for everyone, and not worry about that, trying to figure out how to contort ourselves to allow that to happen, then it will, you know, things, you know, the universe orchestrates things in ways that we could have never imagined. And it's kind of like, wow, that is a win-win, because there's always the availability for a win-win for everybody. My words sound so spot on. Natasha says, thank you. Jennifer says, yes, I feel that all the time. Janelle, that's what I'm dealing with. Exactly, right? So that's a huge one. So I'm glad that this came up, because we have to be honest with ourselves. So that really goes back to getting in alignment with ourselves, trusting our intuition, and taking action. So so let me think about where we're at here. Make sure we get to where we're going. So the next thing I want to do is just have you look at, you know, a quick visualization on, you know, money. So with angels and God, you want to ask, and then you want to listen, whether that comes through repetitive thoughts, feelings, visions, with your dreams. You know, there's lots of different ways. I really go extensive into this in all of my programs, really opening up intuition and angel guidance. And so if you have more questions, we can go into that. Let's see. I think I talk about that in my group a lot too. I don't want to run out of time. That's a whole like topic in itself. But basically, ask is the first step. Notice what you receive, and begin to take the little guided actions that feel aligned, and notice the miracles change. Okay, so the next step is I want to, money is always available. My belief on money is that money is energy. It's abundant. It's ever flowing. It's expansive, infinite. It's not finite, right? You having more money does not take away from somebody else having more money. We all have the same amount available to us. And sometimes I think as empaths, we can be like, well, I don't want to have more because why shouldn't I just be satisfied with this? This is enough. It's greedy to want more because, there's other people that may be starving in other countries and so on and so forth. But the reality is you having more does not make them have less. We're all creative beings, and actually empowers you to help through philanthropy or through giving if you want to be able to spread and support, maybe somebody in our own country or in another country, whether it's like a weave or whatever is into your heart, who you have, a heart for wanting to help, women escaping violence, or people setting up schools in other countries, third world countries, or, whatever you want to do. You have now money to make that impact. So really, it's just to dispel that and have that mindset shift is the biggest thing you can do, because it's not greedy. And so just noticing, when do you say no to yourself? Like, when do you say no? When you want something that is going to further you in your business, or is going to support you in feeling better, right? I can guarantee you the universe always wants to support you in feeling better, right? In your spiritual path. I know for a while it was like, I didn't think I could afford, a organic food, or I really would want massages, but I'm like, oh, I shouldn't spend the money on that, but my body was aching. Once I just started deciding, I want to eat this way. I need to get massages weekly. I want to get, pamper my body, because I stand and I work all day and it's hard. It's physically exhausting. I was supported, but you have to choose. You have to stake that claim first. And the universe always backs you up on anything that's going to be in alignment with supporting you in your path, your purpose, your peace, your livelihood, your just feeling good. I mean, the whole thing is we're here to experience and create lives to feel good. We're here to express our divinity. At the core, that's our purpose, right? We're all individual, unique, divine sparks of divinity with different preferences, different gifts. We all have all of it, but then we all have our own unique recipe within it. This is what I love about the Akashic Records readings I do, because everybody's got their own unique inherent soul gifts and things within them. And when you can be aligned with that and expressing that, manifestation is going to happen. Abundance happens, joy happens, love happens, fulfillment happens, right? You're just a magnet, because that's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to experience struggle, right? Our job is to get into alignment with who we are and express it. And then that can take whatever form in a business, or, whatever your cause is, if you want. Not everybody has to have a business to express that, but some do. Janelle says, I love this. The universe will always get back to you when you're open up, when you're in alignment, for sure. So just notice, what is something that you want to support you in your business or in your life personally that you're saying no to, especially probably because possibly money, right? That's why I bring this up, because that's the biggest one. Sometimes it's time, but that's a priority thing. It's really about choosing a priority. Just like when I got out of the habit of exercising, it's very quickly, I don't have time. But then I know that there's times where I used to spend 8 to 12 hours a week Zumba-ing and personal training and all kinds of stuff. So it's just, that's a priority thing, right? Because there's always space to create for that as well. But with money, where are you saying no? And notice what the voices are. Notice when you want something, what comes in. You can't afford it. You shouldn't. What about your kids? This or that. You got taxes. That'd be irresponsible. Is that your dad's voice? Is that your mom's programming? Like, where are the beliefs coming from? Start to investigate and write those things down, and start to really get honest about if you think it's even true. Start to hand over the worry and ask for God and the angels and, the universe to support you in releasing these limitations, and start saying yes. Practice with the little things. Say yes to a compliment, right? We even deflect compliments. Oh, you look great today. I love that. Oh, I got this on sale at Target. It's the old shirt, and it's like, how quickly do we actually, or, oh, you look beautiful too. That's a nice thing, but it's still a little bit like, let me take the attention off of me and put it back on you. Just, yes, thank you. I do that every single time. I know it's such a response, right? It's a deflection on some level. And so just say yes. Another one that I find difficult that I'll challenge you, this is small, not necessarily with money. With money, I would recommend freaking claim it, because if you claim it, you can have it. But with, this is a good one. So it might be, if you guys have little kids, you might say yes. But for me, I don't have any children. So for me, going to the store and you're by yourself and the guy says, hey, can I take your groceries out for you? Most of the time we say no. Now I say no because the first thing that comes to my head was, well, they think I was lazy, or somebody else could use it more, or that would be, they'd think, they would think something. How stupid, right? It's silly. And it's true. Like, Chancellor, I could take my groceries out. It's no big deal. Try saying yes, because what happens is we can start to dispel those little things in our mind, and we can see and light up like these little thoughts that happen that keep us holding ourselves back all the time. So I don't know. I still struggle with that sometimes. It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's a good one to play with. Yes, thank you. That's not always easy, right? I totally relating to funny. It is funny but it just, the whole thing is, you guys, is this is important ways for you to become aware of this, because when we're not aware, it drives the show, right? These limits drive the show. When we are aware and we don't take action out of fear, we're allowing fear to drive the show, but at least we're closer to understanding where's the core of this fear. Now the key is to really work and get the support you need through journaling, through sometimes mentors or healers or whatever, to get the support to shift those beliefs, right? So I hope that supports you. A meditation that I like, to tell people to do is, meditate a little bit with money. Look at money and see, just see how you react with money. What is your relationship to money? I did a class, I don't know if any of you were on it last week, that said how to become a money magnet. And it was really, we dove into actually doing a meditation and some clearing work on our relationship to money directly. So what we did was just really imagine money in front of you, notice putting yourself in front of it, and just watching how you react to it. Can you let it in? Do you turn away? And ask money how you can be more open to receiving it. Like it's a good thing to do. It will illuminate some stuff for you. Jen says, I always said no, but said yes this week because I had 2 cards on my daughter. Yay! I know. See, this is where moms get a bonus card. Try doing it by yourself even. That's awesome. No, good job for saying yes anyways. But it's funny. Yeah, we have to have this. A funny one. Next time, do it for no reason at all. I've started doing it too, and it's really fun getting to know people more. How does the energy of others in your home affect your ability to open up if they're closed? Well, it's really our choice to allow them to. I think that at the core, that's a loaded question. It's not always easy, obviously, because we're co-creating an experience. I would be diffusing essential oils and like whatever you need to do to shift the vibration there. I work with the angels to set the energy as well. But what else I would say, Janelle, is how do you, something came in and wanted to come out funny, the distraction, right? How does the energy of others in your home? It doesn't really affect it unless you let it. Doesn't really affect you unless you let it, So it's really just standing in your power with yourself and being open to allow, not shrinking. So I think that reason why we shrink a lot, or not shine our light, is we just have to stand in our truth a little bit. And sometimes if you have something you want to invest in and your husband is not, if I understand, you guys share and people share bank accounts, there's a little bit to it. The truth is, when we allow it to affect us, it affects us. Standing in our power, being in our light, the universe can't deny you unless we allow it to deny us, right? So that's the core truth. But we shrink a lot of times because we don't want to feel the flack from people. We don't want to make them upset. We want to control, in a way, their response. You know what I mean? Or what we're having to deal with. And so in that sense, that's sort of part of it. And so really just standing in your power with it, and really, addressing, like if you want to invest in something that, the husband's not in agreement with, I counsel my clients to say things like, okay, sit down and write down why you want to do this, whether it's a massage or a program or a coach or something like that, right? Write down why, write down what you think you see yourself getting from it, what you see is possible for you, right? And then approach them from that space. If we approach it from the mindset that they're going to say no, they're going to be like, oh my God, that's a waste of money. There's no way how we can do it. If we think that that's going to happen, that's what's going to happen, right? If we set the energy ahead of time, we call in the angels. I have a lot of things I use to create around this communication with Archangel Gabriel, like set up the whole energy ahead of time, how you want it to go, with this solid belief of, what? This is going to support me, and I'm asking you to support me on something that's going to support me. I see this as possible. This is important to me. I ask you to please support me in this. That's a whole different energy than going into it with your tail between your legs, knowing they're going to say no, or not even asking what their opinion is to begin with, assuming that they're going to reject the idea. Now, they may still kind of go into their game about it if they are in the mindset of not understanding that money is energy and energy is abundant, blah, blah. They may not understand it, but if you approach it from asking them to support you from a space of the clarity and expressing why this is important to you, that's a different way to go, I think. Does that help? Okay, guys. So I hope that, so that's part of it. So this is really a lot around what I love supporting women on, right? I think one of the biggest blocks that I see is allowing those limits and fears and roadblocks to drive our creation process, right? That was a big one. We want to control emotions. Yes. Huge. We shrink all the time to avoid competition, even in the market space with other women, with all kinds of things. We don't want people to feel bad. It's an interesting game, But really, when we rise and we ground and we open ourselves to receive more, we really give people permission to match us at that higher vibration instead of matching them at their limits, right? We stay at that higher vibration, then they have the permission to rise as well. It's not always easy, but that's what I teach a lot in the Energetic Mastery course, actually. So that's part of what that program does, Janelle, which is a course I teach around really managing our energy as a sensitive, aligning and becoming a magnet, and really being in that space and clearing out, what's the difference between your emotions and others. So all that will start to shift your awareness and help you be in that space of not having to drop to match the energy. It's, as an empath, it's a work in progress, right? Awesome. All right, guys. So that's why I really wanted to share with you is that I really, these limits, these beliefs are there. Being in community of women who are supporting one another is huge, right? Because not everybody believes this. So you go talking about manifesting miracles and angels, and they're gonna be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" A lot of people, our family or our husbands or people, may not always get it, right? You can put in their comments below if you have some people in your life that might be a little bit of a downer around this stuff, like don't get it. And that's okay. Being in community with women and people who do support one another is hugely validating. It helps you ground and release even more. Even this conversation here shifted completely from the talk I gave on this last week, even though the outline's the same, because you guys all brought something to the table that each of you could kind of benefit and have more clicks of awareness on, which is beautiful. So that's a lot of why I created my 3-month Manifesting Miracles on Money program. Would it be okay if I share a little bit about that with you guys? Would you guys like to hear a little bit? Because it's really exciting. I'm super excited. I'm getting more excited as I started doing, I don't know if you guys saw my mind mapping thing. I started getting so much more fun ideas. And I painted with my daughter on Saturday, and I think that sparked more. Yes, please. Okay, awesome. So, okay, so let me get to that page. So that's really the core of it, is that when we are letting the limitations and fear drive the show, that's a big part of the problem. Not having clarity on what it is we actually desire is another, or the belief around it. And really having the tools, healing as a group is powerful. Group healing, I love group work because you heal. It's so much easier to let these heavy things go when we're in a group together. I work with the angels a lot. So in this program, we're going to be working around specifically, if it's really going to help you shift your perception of money mindset and help you really manifest whatever you want. You can pick any intention. I'm going to help people with, you're going to have a roadmap of how I create. So you can take this manifesting roadmap and really apply it in the future to anything that you want. We're going to get clear on, some of the main goals. This is another thing I see is your spiritual, your business, your personal. Are they working together? Are they working against each other? Because sometimes we have cross purposes happening that block our other goals from one another, if that makes sense. And we're going to really shift out of that money, the blocks around that we have around money. We're going to do a deep dive into specifically money, which will open up your ability to receive in all areas in your relationships and everything. We're going to introduce, it's going to be 8 archangels. I've got this download of this Archangel Abundance activation where we're going to be each week for 12 weeks of the 3-month, or let's see, I think there's actually going to be at least 8 of those. I think there'll be some bonus ones, but right now what I'm seeing is 8 specific archangels coming in, one healing each week to help activate the abundance vibration within our physical and emotional and spiritual bodies and really release these limits as they come up. And that's going to be super powerful. You're going to be creating your own spiritual support team, opening your intuition, releasing limitations and blocks. Really shatter the glass ceiling. So whether you've new to manifesting or if you've been manifesting, there's always another level to go. And so this is going to be important. We're going to be doing a lot of transformation work, right? So we'll be transforming and really holding space for that to come through. There's 6 live Zoom calls that will be interactive. We can have I like our videos on and being able to chat, together with mics on and everything like that. So it's more like we're in our living room bubble for questions and everything. So I'll make sure to answer everyone's questions. They'll be recorded. So if you miss it, you can send your questions ahead of time so that they will be answered for sure. A Facebook group, intimate Facebook group, where I'll be doing specific lives, weekly energy readings and healings for the group. You guys will even get hot seats if you want to jump on and get a specific, angel reading. That will be happening in there as well. What else do we get? Oh, in between times, you're going to get video, short video trainings and the blueprint to really start working your goals. whatever that may be. And then as a group, each week, those angel healing meditations are super powerful. One of my gifts is really doing energy work, holding space. I think Janelle's had a little dippy one for me. We did a raindrop healing together. And it was just like, you know, it's like energy is something that I'm naturally good at holding space for and channeling. And that's kind of where the magic is at, right? Illuminating what we want and finding that alignment, trusting our own intuition, creating our spiritual support team, and then clearing and healing the energy that's blocking us. And that's definitely, that's my gift, right? And that's what I love to do. And I love to empower you to do that for yourself, because I know that it's possible. So that's the basic group. And then there's a VIP option where I'll be offering, and there's only 5 spots left though, because I can only do so much one-on-one work, but where I do the soul gift alignment and activation Akashic records reading, tells you all about who you are at soul level, your inherent soul gifts and purpose, how you'd apply that to a business strategy and foundation that would actually work for you, because we're all different. So a lot of these done for you templates don't work as spiritual and intuitive entrepreneurs, because we all create a little different. We all have our own unique gifts. And if we align with that, that's what's going to happen. So it's kind of like, it helps you really start to put those pieces together and align your business model in a way that is in congruency to who you are, which is the key. And then we do a clearing, and we do, you know, the main blocks and restrictions that are coming up for you to not allow you to express your divinity. That's it. It's simple, but not simple, right? And so I love those readings have been powerful. I had a client who signed on with a one-on-one mentoring with me, and literally she signed on, which was her biggest investment. She'd never invested in her business yet. And the only thing we've done is that one Akashic Records reading so far. And she's been working on herself, as we all are, but she jumped in. I've never committed this much. I'm going to stake the claim. I'm doing it, starting from scratch. And then we did the one reading. 4 days later, she's like, oh my gosh, I just got, and we did a lot of work around relationships, around men and receiving, right? And one particular block that came up was mucking up her manifesting by 27%. It was dimming her vibration by 27%, and her receiving and her, you know, manifesting mojo. So we did that clearing. 4 days later, she's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I've been praying for my debt to be gone. My ex-husband just paid $10,000 of debt for me to give me an opportunity. I'd never expected it to come that way. And it happened like within 4 days of that. Now you can never say what is this or that, but I can tell you, when you stake a claim and commitment for yourself and you show up, and I know that particular stuff that we worked on was so directly correlated to how that happened. You know what I mean? Amazing things happen. Miracles happen. You can't always get proof of exactly this or that, but I've done this so much with people, and you see the direct results. I can't remember if somebody posted that in here or where somebody said, oh, I think it might have been Jennifer in the Facebook group. Somebody in the Facebook group, because I've been doing my morning rituals, you know, I've been doing this such and such, and then bam, miracle starts to happen. It's directly correlated, you guys. It's huge. Yes, that was Jen. Okay, great. It's true. You just got to keep on keeping on. And when you invest a little, you get a little. When you stake big claims, you get, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost like direct proportion, right? And actually tenfold in some ways. So anyway, so that's powerful. And then and then the second reading is a manifesting blueprint, because we all actually create differently. Some people vision boards work great for, some people they don't. Some people have to worry about how their processes every day is powerful. Some people it's holding on to the vision. So we have different unique idiosyncrasies to our spirit. So I help you craft a roadmap specific to who you are as soul to help you kind of align with your goal that you're creating, which is powerful. And your business, we can look at assessing, you know, which areas of your business are in alignment or not in alignment, and to what degree, which is really good information to know where you need to tweak. Is it your marketing, your sales, your niche? So it's super powerful stuff, guys. And so anyway, so that's kind of the gist of it. There's 2 options. If somebody wants to type this in, and you can go there if you want, or copy and paste it, it's bit.ly manifest program, all lowercase, bit.ly /manifest program. And anyways, the sales page, so much has even come up since then about the Facebook live groups and, you know, things like that aren't on there. I'm more of I make my decisions from feeling, And so sales pages are like not my favorite thing. I just either know or I don't know if things are in alignment. But if you have any questions, I would love to answer with you. So the investment, the full investment of the 3-month program is $997 for the group, and then $1597 with the readings. Okay, those are That's what the individual time is with me. I have my coach, one of my business coaches, the previous business coaches, I did the Akashic Records readings on as well. And she's got a multiple 6-figure business, doing 3-day live events, super successful, has some ideas on changing. And she, no matter where you're at, you can always take yourself to the next level. She was thrilled because she's taking a chance on shifting her model. Here she's got a successful model, but it's starting to shift. And so the reading was very validating in the direction that she's taking her business in. And she could see where the patterns that I talked about were coming up had been lifelong patterns that are still coming up, because that's the ones that show me, the ones that you're still experiencing. We made those shifts, and she's just thrilled with much more confidence to move forward in that direction. So that was exciting as well. And so, as I said earlier, I want to give you guys a special opportunity to make this simple and to make it easier for as many people to join as possible. And so I've included a few extras, and that would be, first of all, the bonus is the Energetic Mastery Program. So if you haven't know what that is, the Energetic Mastery Program is seriously opening up your intuitive and psychic abilities, activating your healing abilities, knowing the difference between your energy and somebody else's so that you can thrive as a highly sensitive person in your world and in your business and in your life, and not have the foot on the pedal and the brake for fear of overwhelm and burnout. That's huge. And there's so much more to that, but that in itself is worth $497. So that's free. I'm also going to add in, for the people that do the VIP, 1 extra hour session with me. So that would mean that you get 1 a month, which is super powerful to keep you really honed in on your own, moving the energy, keep the energy moving so you can really keep expanding. And I decided to offer, to make an offer for you guys. The people that want to join in just the program is going to be $497. So that's basically the price. It's half, 50%, and it's the same price as the bonus that you're getting, because everybody gets the Energetic Mastery, which is, I think, every single person on the planet could benefit from, honestly. Life-changing tools I still use daily. And so $497 or 3 payments of $197. So you can do a payment plan. Or if you want to get the VIP, the first 5 people that sign on for that, because I really have 5 spots left right now, is going to be $997. And that will include all of the Akashic Records reading and the personal healing work that is as a part of it. And or you can do 3 payments of $397. If you prefer to do payments, I do take PayPal. PayPal credit's a great way. Sometimes I know I've invested that way. It's 0 interest for 6 months. So you can get the cheaper, the price by paying in full, where you save a little money over the payments, but then you get 6 months, so that can spread your payments out. That's just something that has come up that one of my clients already took advantage of, that I thought, oh, that's a good thing to mention, that I could take that way as well. PayPal is pretty cool with that new offer that they've been having. I've used it actually myself. So it's a pretty good deal with no interest for 6 months. Allows you to spread the payments out even more. So that's just an option. I would love to chat with you. If anybody has questions, type it in the comments below. Everybody, whether you do the VIP or not, will be involved in the intimate group setting, where I will be have access to me for questions in between. We'll be doing live group energy forecasting for the group, for the growth period that's happening as we all expand together. And what's cool about group work too, is as one person has something that they bring to the table that we put into the pot to release in that healing, everybody's got a match on some level to it, right? Because we're really all connected in that way. Somehow, intrinsically, we all have a piece of that. So we get to expand and heal and grow even more quickly, because people are bringing in the blind spots and things that we may or may not even be noticing needs to be addressed and let go of. And so it just kind of like magnifies the container. And so I'm really excited about that. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer anything that you might have, or I'm open to bringing, what would make it even more valuable. I'm kind of, this is my first time, this is all work I've taught for many years. I've been teaching for over 9 years, but or 8 years. Yeah, 8 and 8. I love it. My Abundance 8 Miracles, all about infinitely expanding. Anyways, what is it? Because I want this, I'm noticing as I'm starting to create it, there's room to bring in ways to have it even be more valuable for you. So I always am open to seeing, what ways do you learn best? I try to do it through video. Each week you're going to get a video training, short video training, audio healing, a new introduction to a new angel each week to put in your repertoire of spiritual support team. and workbook activities. So it's not going to take a ton of time. The more you want to do it, you know, great, but we're going to be focusing on a main goal. I think that's powerful, and it will actually allow for your other goals to come in. We'll do a little bit of broad work and give you the blueprint, but then it's kind of really deep diving into expanding into receiving that bigger intention that you have for a 3-month period. And then what else? Yeah, so it's really exciting. Everything will be replays again. There's these 6 live calls with more Q&A, and I would love it if we all had our mics on and our videos on to just, you know, makes it feel more personal that way. So let's see if there's any. Oh, I thought you were typing, Janelle. Oh, sounds fabulous. It took a minute to come in. Thank you, Jen. I love your energy. I love your energy too. Thank you guys for all being here. Super fun. And yeah, I'll see. I think most of you guys might be in the group, so I'll look forward to seeing you in the group or online, hopefully in the program. Feel free to reach out if you want to have any more information or chat with me about any of it. Okay. Have a wonderful day, guys.